One afternoon, a couple of years back in summer, my friends and I, we were trying to think of what we could do. And we usually liked exploring the bush behind my house. There was a couple of bike jumps that my friends liked to go on, so we would always have a look around there. So we decided to do that, and it was probably around like 5:30 or so, but the sun wasn't going down until a bit later then. Then we went up into the bush and we headed north towards the back of Ostermere. We'd been on this track before, and it usually led to the bottom of Sublime Point. So we spent our time walking there and making jokes and trying to scare each other because of this rumour that had been going around a couple of months back that there was a panther that had been spotted in the same bush where we were walking. So we were scaring each other and making jokes about it and laughing and just talking and walking along, and all of a sudden it was starting to get dark and we didn't know whether we had enough time to get back. So we started making our way back, and before we knew it, the sun was down and it was like dusk, and the only thing that was really lighting the way was like the torch on our phones. And because we'd been talking about the panther before, we were scaring ourselves. And every time someone would step on a stick or something, or we'd hear a rustling in the bushes, we were scared. We quickly walked back in the dark, trying to find our way, trying to stay on the path that we'd come on. We eventually made our way back, but I always think about that as a fond memory.
It was late at night, well, at least it felt late at the age of around 7 years old. Dark outside and the cold chill had picked up. Dad turned to me and told me that we were going somewhere. I ran down to the car. Dad and I jumped into the car and took off down the street. We turned a sharp left and Dad parked the car. We got out and Dad told me to follow him. We crossed the road and walked onto the top of the headland, and I ran ahead, and I spotted the chair. I pointed towards the chair, showing Dad, and I sat down. He sat beside me and told me that this was what he wanted to show me. We sat and looked out over the beach. He pointed at all of the different beaches along the coast that we could see. It became our spot, and when I asked him of a significant place for him, he said this chair too. The beach holds a lot of memories growing up for me. However, this beach in particular is one where my family and I liked to walk my dog when I was younger, and it's also a place where I've been with friends. But one time we had set up there for the day, my family and I, with a picnic and a day of swimming, and it was my dog's favourite beach, so she likes swimming too. So we would play a lot together in the water, and I also liked doing handstand competitions with my family, and I would draw a stage in the sand and do dance routines and make my family rate my dance. It's just a place that kind of reminds me of my childhood, and whenever I go there I think of those memories. This beach in particular makes me feel very nostalgic when I'm there, and it's interesting to see
how a specific place can kind of conjure up those memories when you're in it again. When you first get your license, it's kind of a rite of passage, for my friend group at school anyway, that your first drive would be over the Seacliff Bridge with your friends in the car. It has now become a part of our usual drive along the coast, so we can listen to our music with the windows down. And while driving around with my friends one day, going from our houses along the bridge all the way to Stanwell Tops and back, on the way back we decided to stop and walk along the bridge. We parked the car and we started walking along the bridge, and about a quarter of the way along we saw an old service road with the gate open. We looked down and there were fishermen who had gone down and were fishing off the rocks ahead. We went down through the open gate and followed the road down which led to underneath the bridge. We continued walking along underneath the bridge and people were calling out from us at above. We had never been down here before, and it was just a really nice place to see the bridge from. It's a significant place I always think about when I think of my friends and I being together.